So this topic has been on my mind since June 2021 when Netflix announced the new film for My Little Pony that was out on Netflix. I know I already said that. It was supposed to be like some, I don't know, some new thing for the My Little Pony fandom, which the majority are a bunch of grown adults. Now, you're expecting me to say kids. Let's just say that the college dropouts found an opportunity of this and made this a whole personality of themselves, not just in person, but also on the internet. And if you guys were around in like the golden age of YouTube or of the internet where it didn't have that many rules where content creators could break, it was like basically where you're allowed to do blackface or say the N-word and stuff and you wouldn't get demonetized and such. Well, let's just say that there was an animation that I feel like you guys remember, okay, when you were browsing on YouTube or you were, very curious and you see this picture, all right? Does it remind you of anything? All right, let me pop up this picture as well. And there's also a remastered version of that animation. I feel like the trauma that you saw watching those videos back then, I feel like I just revived or unlocked a forgotten memory in your head, which, let's just be honest, nobody was expecting this. You weren't expecting me to talk about it, but now I am. Also, Piemacious was part of this. Piemacious made a whole series about My Little Pony, but he did put parody in front of it to make sure that people don't get the wrong idea. And to be fair, it was more of like a mockery of how the My Little Pony is eating itself, representing themselves on the internet and on YouTube as well. He's also has done some animations with his pony Sona in one of his videos where he did announce he's going to BronyCon with his friends Pika Petey. It was one where he talked about BronyCon and the other was his mini series called Elements of Cringe, which I don't remember too much of it, but let's just say it was just a phase that I guess we're all glad that Piemacious has moved on with. Funny story that I do want to mention that's part of this video, where Netflix promoted the new My Little Pony movie with Liza Koshy and the guy that's trying to be the next Dr. Dolittle, that's also in the Sonic movie, and in Hop, the live action Illuminations movie that you guys probably don't remember. And then I made a reply saying that I forgot that Brony still exists. One person replied to my reply saying that they agree, and I triggered like 3 Bronies, and only 2 of their replies are gone. Like, if you look at the tweet, you don't see them. I got another reply saying, "Get out of here, wolf, get," as in some sort of pun with the horses that you say, get, like go away, shoo, move. I'm like, I'm just being honest, all right? Like, I legit forgot that Brony still exists. And of course, my reply was meant to trigger the Brony fan base because I'm gonna be honest, like the Brony fan base is like on quadruple digits instead of like 7 digits with the furry fandom, okay? Because the furry fandom is still existing. I mean, as long as there is a talking animal that walks like a human, talks like a human, and looks attractive according to the eyes of a furry, they're gonna be alive. And most likely this year is probably their downfall, but I digress. Now sure, I did make a video saying why I didn't like being in the furry fandom, but it was just more of me giving you my personal experience being there after being there for 9 months. And 2022 was basically me reliving my mistake of 2021. I gave my criticisms, my overall thoughts about the furry fandom. And another thing that I do want to add on that I forgot to mention, I don't care how many comments I get about this, I'm manly enough to admit that I'm scared of furries. And it's not because that they're cringe, even though that's like the most satire, satirical way to elaborate further as to what I'm saying. But it's more of if I recognize a content creator of their content or because of their name or because of their voice or because of their persona and how they portray themselves in person when they meet new people in Comic-Cons or conventions overall. I get scared because of how I remember how they act online, and it's something that I want to move on from my past and not let that be a permanent mark in my life because it's something that I'm not proud of, okay? I don't want to be remembered as a person who has a fantasy or a high interest in anthropomorphic animals because that's a career that's pretentious. That's a career that sounds like a fantasy, no pun intended, because there's Final Fantasy VII remake gameplay in the video. And I'm not taking sides. If you ever put a comment in my video saying, oh, well, which fandom is worse, the furries or the bronies? Both. I already have my personal experience being in the furry fandom. I already have my personal experience being part of the bronies as well. You guys probably don't know this, but I think it was like back in 6th grade where I used to be a brony. I didn't have a pony Sona because I didn't know how to draw. All I did was watching a couple videos and I got tired of it because it was pretty boring. And then I ended up becoming a gamer. Not really something that I want to be known for, not just in like my future, but also something that I'm passionate with. Same thing goes for being a furry. That's not something I want to be passionate or be known for in the future because at the end of the day, there's really no joy for me being in this degenerate group of people that are very vocal about their interests, which for me is not really something that I want to be open about when it comes to new people or my friends or my family members. And even if I was expressive towards this random hobby that a lot of people may not know of, I bet you with every dollar I have in my wallet, people are gonna find an excuse to not talk to me because of how annoying I am. All right, and I won't lie. Okay, furries are also annoying. Same thing goes for the brony. Same thing goes for any degenerate that makes a game or show their entire personality, and that's what pisses people off. Sure, you have every right to be yourself, but at the same time, you're gonna have this feeling of regret and have this feeling of being annoying because of how quirky you act and how overexpressive you become with this new hobby of yours of being a fan of this fan base that turned this innocent thing like My Little Pony or Zootopia or any animal that talks and walks like a human into a source of material online that you can find easily on Google or incognito mode that ruins the childhoods of innocent infants that are searching on the web. Now, sure, it may not be their fault, but at the same time, you created trauma just like Elsagate. Hot take, but still. And I'm well aware that there's 2 games on the PlayStation, My Little Pony, A Maritime Bay Adventure, and the newest one, My Little Pony, A Zephyr Heights Mystery, even if I didn't say that right. Only reason why these games are about to get a lot of reviews is because the bronies are trying to keep the fandom growing. Now, of course, you may have seen Quite's video where he discovered Ponytown in his second channel. But then again, even if it did shock the hidden Brony fans on his YouTube channel, there's really no chance that this fandom is going to be revived. All right, even BronyCon shut down after being alive since 2011 to 2019 and made a 28 tweet Twitter thread about the condolences. And you know, since I stopped over here, why not? Let's all read it together. First of all, we have to thank our amazing convention chairs who spent the last year leading our organization and making this final party possible. Con chair at Sheer Goldberg, vice chairs Shibi and Dexanth. I don't know if I said that correctly. And Secretary Grisses 1991. Oh, Captain, our captains. To our chief of staff, the people always around when our staffers need help keeping a roof over our heads at con, making sure we all get what we needed. Thank you. We'd never be as organized without you, Kristen Staten Heat, at Dispatch Rabbi, and PRF Jennings. For years, BronyCon has been lucky enough to have some of the fandom's best lend their talents to our design team. Many have moved onto greener pastures, while some are only beginning their journeys. For that, thank you at Iron Herda, her Twitter is gone, and Emily Bennett for being steadfast leaders. When we began planning for a 4-day BronyCon, many people wondered how could expand our programming. How would the concert or panels work? It's thanks to people like events department head Justin in Sigma, Yoon, deputy at Tree Breeze 42 and their team that your con was filled. A convention isn't cheap to run and it can be easy to be swept up in trying to make the best event possible. Our finance team head Troy Hardwire Smith and deputy Panya the Moose kept us in the black and out of debt. Thank you for making it rain when we needed to. I swear to God. To many blank canvas marketplace in the heart of BronyCon is the place where exhibitors display wares, artists show their talent, and where countless dollars are spent to both Screw Loose and Jason Spriggs. Thank you for helping connect so many people in one space. We're not even done. BronyCon's operation team was led by Hollow Nocturnes and J.H. Monroe. Their work and the hours of pre-con prep and at con labor by their team meant valuable equipment was delivered, setup was ready by day 0 of the event, and cleanup was even quicker. Thank you all. If any convention, memories are invaluable and photos are a key part of remembering. BronyCon's photography team was spread thick and thin around the BCC at nearly every event and at their photo booth. To department head at XMP Deputy Hennons 303 and your team, thank you. To public relations, the team that helps run social media, press, charity, and more. You're the reason why BronyCon is known and why attendees have more to do in the great Charm City. Big thanks to co-heads Alexander Brony Bass, Jesus, Wood, and at Michael B_96 and your group. The first thing many attendees do when arriving at BronyCon is pick up their badges. Big thanks to our registration team led by Rambo EFN and at Ubu Aid, that spent countless days and nights working to make sure BronyCon attendees could get their badges ASAP or ASAP. No matter if you have 100 or 10,000 attendees, safety is the #1 priority for everyone taking part. The BronyCon security team headed by at Comrade Dove Twitter is gone, and second in command Gianfranco Bat 2 for a constant presence in their blue shirts all weekend in pre-con 2. The APTI, don't know what that is, named venue and hotel relations team doesn't need any introduction. The work of I'm Josh Dean and at Hart Woog helped make sure attendees and staff had hotels to cash in and a con center to party throughout. We owe them the roofs over our heads and much more. Hashtag pay it forward. Finally, but certainly not least, the team that made sure we had a stellar cast of VIPs and community guests for our event. VIP relations go-aheads at I'm Shorty5, Twitter is gone, at Diceman87, and Deputy Mana Arts Crafts helped connect fans with the people who helped make this all possible. Your hairline is pretty messed up. Additionally, we want to thank at Lunar Solace Corp Board. Since 2013, this group has made critical decisions and stepped in, helping to keep BronyCon on track. Thank you. I'm Josh Dean, at Dispatch Robbie, Troy Smith, at Emily Bennett, at Sure Goldbird, at Once Upon a Whim, and at Arts Ortman. Overall, thank you to every member of BronyCon staff who helped make this convention possible. For the months of pre-con work to the hectic last few weeks to the busiest 4 days many of us have experienced, our work together is over, but memories are forever. Thank you to all our guests of honor and community guests who came one final time and helped make 2019 unforgettable. A very special shout out to at Andrea Lipman, at Tony Fleeces, Andy Pricard, who are tied for the most all-time BronyCon appearances with 6 each. I guess they're famous. For those that stepped up and helped run panels or events at BronyCon, thank you. There are countless people who could thank, like at MLP Anthology, at Step 2 Harmony, and at AC Race Best, but we just can't list you all. All your work gives attendees the chance to enjoy more of this con. To those who rocked the Brony Palooza stage, whether you were a regular like at Travis Odyssey or at Michelle Kreber, if I'm saying that correctly, and Black Griffin, if you guys don't know, that's one of the voice actors for Billy Busta. Or someone coming home one last time, like at Garnica the Panda or at Mike the Microphone. That's a stupid ass name. Thank you all for giving us 3 awesome nights of music. To the city of Baltimore MD and the Baltimore Convention Center, thank you all for allowing us to call you home for the past 7 years. BronyCon went from being a native New Yorker to a Baltimorean and fell in love with Charm City. We are and will always be proud of our city. We want to also thank both at Shepherd Expo and OPOV Official for their years of help inside the Baltimore Convention Center. Both groups have always stepped up to make sure our spaces is primed and rocking for BronyCon. Next, we want to thank all our partners who helped make Thursday activities a huge success. Aurealis, I can't even say that right. At Charm City Cakes, at Charm City Clue, at Charm City Foods, at Natal Aquarium, and our community run at Pokemon Go app. What? Big shout out to Wax and Wayne at the BC Discord. What the hell? In addition, we want to thank the groups that helped raise money for At Cure Search over BronyCon weekend, including again, these people can't even say their names correctly. At Uno Chicago Grill and at Will Bill Soda. So they got sponsors. Special thanks to Skiggles. Is that even a name? And King Engraving for working with WBS on those awesome agent mugs at Con. On that note, we want to thank At Cure Search and their staff for working with us these past 7 years. As a group, your staff had worked tirelessly with our own both pre-con and at BronyCon. We're lucky to have worked with you and hope the money raised helps to lead to a cure. To all the other conventions who helped us at BronyCon, from Everfree NF, don't know what that is, at Team Techo, at UK PonyCon, that's a thing, at Harmony PonyCon, at TrodCon, okay, so there's puns, you know, trotting, the sound that horses make, and many more. Thank you for being there and showing our attendees what kind of awesome events you are to visit. Anyway, go to these cons. I most likely won't. A quick but heartfelt shout out to Roughneck Scarves, who helped us create the limited edition BronyCon scarves for our staff and some lucky attendees. Through various conventions, auctions, the scarf raised $4,725. You might as well give that to me. For various charities across the country. Oh, finally, we want to thank you, the people who made this event what it was, is, and will always be a family. Who knew that a meetup for only 100 people in Manhattan would grow into a convention of over 10,000 people in Baltimore? Whether you attended every BronyCon, made it to just one, or never got to attend but still cheered us on from afar, you helped create this. To every volunteer, attendee, musician, cosplayer, artist, exhibitor, ice cold water guy, and every pony in between, thank you. We are the music makers, and we are the dream of dreamers, wandering by lone sea breakers and scented by desolate streams. World losers and world forsakers, on whom the pale moon gleams. Yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. By Arthur, I'm not gonna pronounce his name. Well, after reading that long paragraph of a goodbye message, I'm most certain that you guys have left watching this video. But if you guys are still watching this video, you have a good attention span. Give yourself a pat in the back. You did a good job. Another funny thing is that Black Griffin was part of this, aka one of the voice actors of Billy Bustup. Billy Bustup is a currently in progress indie game made by Katie Nelson. And another thing is that Daniel Ingram, one of the composers of Billy Bustup, and John Cena, the same guy that ran butt naked at the Oscars, also follow BronyCon. There's a couple of more things that I do want to mention before I wrap up this video, and it's about this YouTuber called Miss Breezy, or used to be called Cool Dud 3 or Cool Dude. He used to make these Gmod gameplays with Pymations and some other of his friends, Bing and Zach. As far as I know, there was a documentary about her, and I say her because this YouTuber used to be a dude and went from a male to female because she transitioned from male to female. Now a trans woman. She transitioned, went from a male to a female. There was some other stuff that happened in her life where her friend group separated. She ended up becoming an alcoholic. The whole YouTube ad apocalypse, it was a plague for a lot of YouTubers back in 2018, and she was considering to leave YouTube. And on top of all that, all right, there was a controversy that happened, I think it was in the beginning of the year. And if you guys don't know this, she was an editor for Meat Canyon, you know, the guy that makes the cursed cartoons and just recently made a cartoon about queso. So then she got fired for not being professional at her work, not meeting the deadlines, and Meat Canyon was being very nice to her, and she was being very entitled to her work. She was being entitled, making this entire stream and accusing Meat Canyon for being an abusive boss, when really she just couldn't be professional at her work or meet the deadlines when the deadlines needed to be met or needed to be met, as far as I know. And then when the internet took a deep dive, especially the drama channels, it was pretty much like a, not really a downfall, but it was pretty much a double wombo into Miss Breezy's career because of how she's treating this as if this was just, you know, an oopsie daisy, all right? And this was a hefty amount of damage to her career after she did this accusation towards Meat Canyon, and she did ended up responding to the drama, which is now deleted. She made this thumbnail where she posed her persona, labeled herself as a psycho, but it really wasn't to pour more fuel into the fire. She was being more genuine and asking what can be done. Even though I try to find some screenshots to her YouTube channel, it turns out that she deleted her YouTube channel and made a final video about it in an archived YouTube channel about saying her goodbyes to her fans. Thank you for the support for the many years. She deleted her YouTube channel to move on and focus on her mental health, which I can completely understand. It's just that I find it hard to give sympathy for someone that threw her life away all because of the entitlement she had. And I get that she didn't have any mean intentions. It's just that it's very out of character for Miss Breezy to do, knowing damn well that her fan base wouldn't think that this is something that she would to make it public. And I do agree that the situation could have been handled privately to not make this so much of a big deal from a small issue into a big problem very, very quickly. There's nothing really more that I want to add on into this video except that the Brony fan base is dead. There's no way to revive it. Sure, Quiet has played Ponytown, it has like over 150,000 views as of me recording this video, but even if a YouTuber did play it, it's most likely not going to do a second episode even by popular demand. It's just content farming, all right? Same thing what he did with the whole furry thing, and really it's just like getting views off of a fan base, knowing damn well he ain't part of it. He's just playing a joke. And speaking of Ponytown is basically Club Penguin but for bronies. I highly doubt that there's like a million players, or not even a million, like at least maybe 1,000, 10,000. But with the whole Brony fan base dying, it's like the whole Xbox going multi-platform. Now just bear with me on this because it sounds very similar. When the Bronies died, the Brony fan base passed away, all right? No longer irrelevant, no longer a part of the internet, most likely not going to be in the internet for a lot longer, maybe 2 or 3 years or more. I mean, the fan base is dead, and then they joined the websites that are furry related, and the only way they can enter is by putting in the fan art of the pony characters from the shows. That's what it legit felt. Same thing goes for Xbox. The only way for them to, I guess, make a successful comeback is by making the games that are Xbox Xbox exclusive to go multi-platform for PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. Same thing goes for the Brony fan base. They put the fan art that are Brony related into the furry websites that post Rule 24 artwork of like Disney and DreamWorks characters. But yeah, it just sounds pretty similar. A very odd comparison, but I feel like you get what I'm saying. With all that being said, I feel like I already triggered the Brony fan base and however many minutes that I've spent talking. Currently I have 25 minutes and 40 seconds of audio. Gonna shorten this down to maybe 19, 20. That depends. That's all I have to say. Hope you guys have learned something. A little bit some trauma with the whole Elsa Gate, or before YouTube was politically correct with the whole COPPA thing. The Children's Organization Privacy Protective Act. I think I said that correctly. If I didn't, I'm gonna have to put that on the screen to fact check myself. That's all I gotta say. A video that has been on my mind since 2021. Again, no shade to the creators of My Little Pony. And I also forgot to mention that there was a Breaking Bad and Rick and Morty reference in one of the episodes of My Little Pony, which I think is pretty funny. And it was memed on. It wasn't really something that I feel like anybody was expecting, let alone the kids. I feel like any kid that's like 7 years old doesn't know what Breaking Bad is, because they're most likely brain rotted from all the Skibbity Toilet episodes. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Hope you guys did enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down what you think about the video. That's all I gotta say. This is Wolf.Gray, and I'll see you all later. See ya.